Hi, my name is Abhishek. I'm a legal intern at Lexington Company. So today's my topic is Delhi High Court ruling on UAPA Terrorist Act. So before proceeding with the topic, I request you to please like and share my videos and subscribe the channel LexClick. So, so, so the Delhi High Court granted bail to three student activities who were arrested under the Stringent Unlawful Activities Act (UAPA). The court also ruled that the terrorist activity cannot be broadly defined to include ordinary penal offences. So let us talk about what is the case about. So the three accused were JNU students Natasha Narwal and Devangana Kalita and Jamia Millia Islamia student Asif Iqbal Tanha. They were arrested in May 2020 in connection with the riots in Northeast Delhi. Communal clashes had broken out in Northeast Delhi on 24 February 2020 after violence between citizen-law supporters and protesters. So let us talk about what did the court observe. So Section 15 of the UAPA defines the phrase terrorist act in a very wide and detailed manner. The court stressed on how terrorism was different even from conventional and heinous crime. It reasoned that the more stringent a penal provision, the more strictly it must be construed. So this is the sacrosanct principle of interpretation of penal provisions. This ensures that a person who was not covered by the legislative ambit does not get robbed into a penal provision. So the Supreme Court itself in 1994 case of Qatar Singh versus State of Punjab flagged similar concern. It addressed the misuse of another anti-terror law, the Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Prevention Act 1987. So what constitutes a terror activity then? So the UAPA is meant to deal with a matter of profound impact on the defense of India and address threat to very existence of our nation. So the extent of reach of terrorist activity must travel beyond the effect of an ordinary crime. It must not arise merely by causing disturbance of law and order or even public order. So it must be such that it travels beyond the capacity of the ordinary law enforcement agencies to deal with it under the ordinary penal law. So the court clarified this citing a 1992 SC ruling in the case of Hitendra Vishnu Thakur versus State of Maharashtra. So what is the significance of this ruling? So this is perhaps the first instance of the court calling out alleged misuse of UAPA, and UAPA relaxes timeline for the state to file charge sheets and has stringent condition for bail. So it gives the state more power compared to the Indian Penal Code, but the act is given used against the individual even in cases that do not necessarily fall in the category of terrorism. So a total of 1126 cases were registered under UAPA in 2019. A share prices from 897 in 2015. So it was frequently used against tribals in Chhattisgarh, those using social media through proxy servers in Jammu and Kashmir, and journalists in Manipur, among others. So the court ruling has now in effect raised the bar for the state to book an individual for terrorism under UAPA. So let us know about the more about UAPA. So the Terrorist Act was brought within the purview of UAPA by an amendment made in 2004. So this came on the heels of Parliament repealing Prevention of Terrorism Act (POTA), and POTA's precursor, the Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Prevention Act (TADA), was repealed in 1995. Section 15 of the UAPA defines Terrorist Act, and it is punishable with imprisonment for a term of at least 5 years to life. So in case the Terrorist Act results in death, the punishment is death or imprisonment for life. So that's it. Thank you.